What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. It's a big week for Run Pure members across both NBA and NFL. Let's get into the winners. In the NBA streets, YGuy223 shipped for $12,000. Our guy AP joined in the fun, hitting for $8,000. Turning to NFL, it was another great week for us, especially when it came to Showdown. I parlayed my appearance on our premium Thursday night Print Factory show into 61K, featuring a lineup with Dallas Goedert in the captain spot. RPS coordinators were all over the Goedert captain play, appearing not only in my premium attack plan, but Mangone pushed it as well, helping Nadesify ship for over 67K, while Pete Vegas hit for $7,200 over on FanDuel. But the biggest hit came on Monday Night Showdown, where RPS content was all over Kenyon Drake in the captain spot. Captain Drake was pushed on our free Showdown show by special guest Chris Randone, in addition to our Talking Touchdown show with Spread, Tyler, and Title, where Tyler called his shot, nailing the Drake call ahead of shipping $29,000 for himself.
75% of carries, like he's going to be unowned, like low owned because of his price. He's got to be even more low owned as a captain because his price jumps even more. If he scores 2 touchdowns in this one, you could be golden.
Racer 1A joined in with a 10K hit from Showdown. Kanoski 69 hit for 22K as well. Locks rode Drake captain to a 30K score to continue his heater, while I shipped 2 more King of the Beach seats. But the biggest win was by Run Pure member Homebrew, who hit the perfect unique lineup, solo shipping for a monster $500,000. He joined our NFL First Look show to talk about his big night.
Randone just mentioned at the end of the show, the very end, it was the last lineup I made. It was the end of the show, and he said Kenyon Drake captain, and I was like, well, I don't have one of those. Let me make one of those.
Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
Friday news dump, Holden, Crane, Tambo, 3 of us. We're going to run through all the news from the injury reports today. We'll let you know how we're handling it and how to pivot come Sunday. A lot of news. We got Josh Allen news, Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, Zeke Elliott. I mean, up and down. We got a ton of, I wouldn't say a ton, quite a few very, very important injuries that we have to sort through here, Tambo. And I mean, I'm just going to throw it right to you. Let's get into this with Josh Allen. He has, if he was a baseball player, they'd shut him down for a month because he has a UCL tear. That's the Tommy John thing. That being said, in the NFL, probably 2-3 week injury. He's officially questionable an hour by hour, but I think we're on the same page here. The dude isn't playing. Right. So how do we handle the Buffalo offense this week?
It's up to you if you want to play it or not. I'll definitely take some shots on it, but it's going to be Case Keenum revenge game, Diggs revenge game. You can put them together. I don't know, like a $5,000 quarterback, everyone's going to look at it from the Ellinger side of things. The Ellinger experiment a couple weeks back, it didn't work. He scored 8 points. I get it, but a little bit different scenario. I think we got a better offense at home, a guy that we know a little bit more about. And it took me back, talked about this on the Mayo Media Network earlier today on the show there, but last season when we got Minshew came in at 5,000 against his old team, it was Philly versus Jacksonville. We at least knew a little something about him. He came in and actually broke the slate. So not saying that's what Keenum is going to do here, but I wouldn't hate going with it and playing some of this action. You can get Keenum, one guy, and then if you want to run it back, you don't have to. You can just start filling it up from there with all the value plays. If he does better than what we saw Ellinger do a couple weeks back and maybe puts up 15, 16 points here, that could be a game changer for what you can do with your lineup this week, where there's a lot of pay up running backs, 6,500 and above. A lot of wide receivers, 8K and above. Kelsey at tight end if you want to get there, but we do have cheaper options. So it sets up a lot for your roster construction. So I actually do have interest.
What are you thinking here, Crane, with little Josh Allen probably out?
Yeah, look, Case Keenum, I think he's got this. People look at that name and they think, oh, he's just going to dump it off a little. The dude, that's not what he does. He chucks the freaking football. He loves to throw deep. This is a phenomenal spot for these wide receivers. And the fact that nobody's going to play him if Josh Allen is out is even better because Case Keenum loves to take shots down the field. That's who he is. So if he's starting in this game, I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice just by ignoring these Bills wide receivers. Obviously, he's not Josh Allen, but look, I think it helps these receivers, and I actually think it helps Devin Singletary too, because you're not going to have Josh Allen these designed runs for Case Keenum. So I don't hate this Bills offense. I like the Bills. I like their defense in this game. I like all these guys. I really do.
Okay, well, I'm coming right back at you with the next one. Matthew Stafford in concussion protocol might play, could go all the way up to a game time decision. And then we've got on the other side, Kyler with the hamstring. He's a game time decision. I'm going to tell you right now, Crane, I lost some money live betting Kyler during the game over rushing yards. Didn't know he had the hamstring injury. Completely different quarterback when he can't run, obviously. And Stafford too. These are two questionable offenses, I think, this week. Agree or disagree? And is there any way you want to react to this news?
I mean, look, to me, this kind of takes Cooper Kupp out of play. Like, they're not going to let John Wolford, I don't know how to pronounce it, whatever.
If he plays, right? If Wolford's in there. Okay.
Yeah. Like, you're not going to let any of these guys just chuck the ball a bunch, which to me, look, Tyler Higbee, I had some interest in at 3.6. He's not in play for me if Stafford's out. Cooper Kupp, 9K, he's not in play for me if Stafford's out. Like, I'll just kind of be ignoring this Rams offense, which I've been doing most of the year. And so, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, Tambo, are you paying up for any of these guys?
I'm going to pay up for some wide receivers. Like you said, Kupp for me would be out of there. On the other side, Hopkins out of there. But there is other options. We're paying up for me. We didn't get there yet. There's other stuff that we could talk about. But Tyreek, you're going to go up to Waddle. You're going to go up to Diggs if you like that Keenum spot. Like
Jefferson?
What's that?
Jefferson?
Yeah, you could run back Jefferson in that other spot that we just talked about, right? Like one that I like when you get a guy like Keenum in there, and I know we're going backtrack here, but it ties into this because I have no interest in this spot, so I'll waste my time talking about this. If you go Keenum with Knox, it's a different build than the revenge spot of Keenum and Diggs with somebody on the other side, and where it gets expensive, you could go Keenum, Knox, and then run it back with Jefferson and use that mini stack and hope that he comes in, relies on his tight end a little bit, and of course, Knox could catch a touchdown or something too. So again, that's not my favorite spot of the week. We're talking the news and breaking it down for you guys. I just think that's why it's interesting for this particular slate.
Okay. So you gave your thoughts basically on those two quarterbacks right there, I feel like. Okay, we'll move on. I'm coming right back at you, Tambo. Tannehill's questionable, likely to play, got in a full practice this week. We've had no interest in the wide receivers in Tennessee. With Malik Willis, is there any interest there against the Broncos this week? Is it just Derrick Henry?
Yeah, Derrick Henry would be the way to go there for sure. Yeah, I was trying to think of something else too. Someone was saying today, I was seeing a little note out there about the Tennessee D is pretty banged up and maybe another cornerback out as well. So I guess this is the interesting part is for some reason, like projections and stuff, Holden, you're seeing Judy and Sutton pop. I cannot for the life of me go to that game or play Mr. Unlimited, but if you think about it, like it would be him with his two pass catchers, have Henry on the other side to speed it up. I just don't see it personally. So if I miss that week, I miss that week and it happens. But yeah, I don't have much here. I'm on the Henry side though, for sure. I like this spot.
I mean, there's so many injuries there. Zach Cunningham, starting linebacker, Bud Dupree, starting linebacker, Monty Hooker, starting safety, Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, Josh Thompson, defensive back. That's 6 starters. 6 defensively for the Titans, Crane.
Yeah, I mean, and look, nobody's going to want to play these Denver guys, right? Like Denver has just been a complete disaster all season, but we have been picking on Tennessee with wide receivers. So I don't mind messing with this Denver. Oh boy, it's just tough. Like Sutton has been awful.
You got to go MME, Crane. I'm telling you right now, because here's what happened. And I'm all over the Broncos. Sutton's getting peppered the first couple of weeks. They shade coverage toward him. Then Judy gets all the work. And I'm wondering when the week is when Judy stops getting one-on-ones and then it goes back to Sutton. It's going to be a difficult selection this week. And if you got almost an MME and switch both of them in and out, in my estimation.
I mean, it's a mess. It's a complete
Dulcich
mess.
Just popping a little bit too, though. So
he should.
Look, so Wilson is 5,900. Dulcich is 3,400. Then you just pick your one of Judy or Sutton. You have Henry in there, who should be the whole offense here. Like, again, and also Denver shipped out Bradley Chubb. So it's another spot here where, you just see him at home. We usually talk about Derrick Henry in the winter tires. We've said this joke before, but it is true. He's put them on early this season. Yeah. So it's been a thing. It's definitely worked out. He's right there with Barkley and Jacobs and some of the other guys down below in the 7K range. He's going to be at least a little bit popular, but it is interesting. Instead of people that will have the secondary stack of Dulcich and Henry, to combine it just a little bit more. I don't know. Like I said, I'll look at it further as the week goes on. We'll have full updates here on this channel on Sunday. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. But man, I don't see it holding. It looks just so tough to get to.
Yeah. And listen, here's the other thing. Russell Wilson has sucked against zone, and that's what the Titans do. But what that's going to leave open is Dulcich. So Dulcich.
I mean, it doesn't okay, I'm just going to say, like, the whole Russell Wilson struggles against zone thing.
He does.
That's fine. It doesn't matter when the corners suck at playing zone. Like, I literally don't care about that. I don't. No. That's not something we can care about.
Can't you just stop, though, at Russell Wilson sucks? Forget about at anything.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, it's been over. The guy just I don't know. I don't see it. So it's really tough. Like Holden said, that'd be the way to do it and try and do it where, I don't know. I don't see a week where those guys just turn into Tyreek and Waddle, where you've got Sutton and Judy both going off at the same time, hitting their ceilings with Wilson, etc. Dulcich is there. You could play him. So I don't know. I'd rather do it that way if you were doing it, but I prefer the secondary stack. Henry, Dulcich, run it from there.
And in that game, Hamler's out too. So I would think Sutton or Judy's in for an extra deep ball there. And it's the one thing Russ seems like he could still do. Let's move on to running back. Like button would be great. Like Tambo said, subscribe, little red button, bottom right-hand corner. Crane, Aaron Jones off the injury report. And on the other side of things, Zeke Elliott, questionable. So if Zeke plays, is Pollard just completely gone? And do we want to test Aaron Jones against the Cowboys defense?
No,
Okay.
I don't have interest in either of these guys. I mean, look, I like Aaron Jones as much as the next guy. Like, this Packers season, it's getting close to being lost. Like this Packers did. Like, Tambo, if I gave you plus 500 on Aaron Rodgers retiring midseason, would you take it?
He could. I don't know if I would take that bet, but I don't think he's going to just quit like that, but it's been very bad for him. So I'm not sure what else to say here. Like, I'm with you. I don't like playing these committees anyway. You've got them both there. At the other side of it would actually give me a little bit more interest. I know Zeke is questionable, but Jerry Jones says he's going to play and he's the owner. So maybe that's the one you got to listen to. But man,
they're priced up. Like, I just can't. They're priced up. Like, I just can't do it with
6,500 is not a bad price for Pollard in this match.
If Zeke is out, I agree. If Zeke is out, Pollard is a lock button at 6,500. But I mean, I expect him to play.
There's two things about that I'll say. One is we don't know for sure on Zeke yet, so obviously that matters. That makes a world of difference. But two, this reminds me of the Chicago scenario with Montgomery and Herbert. Well, and last night, for example, we just saw this last night. Hubbard's back from injury. It annoys you, like with Foreman there. What do? What do? They jam Foreman still all game long. Why not? Hubbard got a few touches here and there, of course. He's back. But why not do that with Zeke? They can say whatever they want. But Pollard looked damn good. We knew it was that way. I'm not expecting 45 Draftkings points again, but keep that in mind that they may just decide to go with the hot hand. And look, once he's going to get touches. You know that. He is good. He can escape for 40-yard touchdown and run it from there. And if they're up, why lean off? Why bring Zeke back in once that happens too? So I do have a little bit more interest in, if any committee this week, it would be that one, and just hope that it's that type of scenario.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I get that in like your multi-entering, but like in single entry, I definitely wouldn't do it. Multi-enter, okay, why not?
What's single entry? You know me. I got MME going on. That's where I'm talking it from, of course.
That's why you win every week. You just get every combination, and you get to
play 150. You can't lose. Exactly.
That's right.
I heard it's pretty easy. Yeah, you just throw a whole bunch of people in a pool, and you'll win one. So Mark Ingram's out. Tambo, where are you sitting on a Kamara this week? Because he's got the big workload again.
Yeah, God, this guy's the scary one, man. He looked so great on paper, trust me. And even a few weeks back against the Raiders when he had that huge game, wasn't as high on it then. Like, I said, but the difference is here, what I was going to try and say, Holden, one is $300 more than ETN. which I know Crane's going to talk about in a second. You can make that comparison because they're close enough in price. 2, Landry's coming back, which is another target just to soak up a little bit of it. 3, last week they were giving it still to, I think Washington only got like 5 snaps, but he got 4 carries on 5 snaps. Taysom is still there. Look, looks like a great spot on paper, and I'm going to get there. I'm just not sure. You're going to have to make a commitment this week at running back because there's 5 or 6 there that you can make that decision on. I think he'd be the one that I'd likely to be at sort of at the field just so I don't miss out versus the guys that I'm going to take the full out stands on. But I mean, he worries me the most out of those guys there just based on all those reasoning I said behind him.
Crane, what are you thinking about Kamara this week?
I think this is maybe the first week we've had in 2 months that I want to pay up at running back. You know, I look at every single week, it's almost been the same where these 6K running backs have been studs. They've gotten there. It's been a good time. This is the first week where I'm looking at these guys, a guy like Kamara against Pittsburgh. And I like the Pittsburgh defense for what it's worth this week. But Kamara with no Ingram, I mean, historically, that's been a really good spot. ETN. I mean, I understand that Kansas City might just kick the shit out of them and they might not be able to run for the ball. But ETN on paper is a phenomenal play against Kansas City. I think Saquon Barkley is the best play on the slate. You know, we were talking earlier about Derrick Henry, and you just keep giving him the damn football. I think I saw some weird stat that he scored every touchdown for Tennessee the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Since
like
week 7, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild, man. Like, so this is the first week, and like outside of maybe Jalen Warren, I don't really have a lot of interest in this cheap running back. So maybe this is the week like we have to pay up, and Kamara is very clearly going to be in that bucket. Tambo, are you kind of finding the same thing when you're building this week where he's like, I want to pay up at running back for the first time in forever?
Well, I've been doing it anyway because I guess not paying up. I should rephrase. The 6K guys were just too easy to play. That was the issue where we had them in perfect spots. Here you're going up, but prices just went up. It's not really like you're going to different guys. It's still Kamara, ETN. It's the same dudes in there. Josh Jacobs. These are all the ones that were at the lower price points. And now Pierce has gone up into the 6Ks and Pollards and the Swifts and those guys. So I'm still in that mid tier, but this is what I was saying, Crane. You've got Jacobs, you've got Kamara. I'm not going to do, I don't think at least the much of the Jonathan Taylor experience, but with Jackson.
I can't do it.
It's interesting. I just think he's too injured and that line is too bad. But then you have ETN there. And then, of course, you go into the 8Ks, you've got Henry, Barkley, and if you want to make a case for Chubb. So that's what I'm saying. I think you are paying up just naturally this week because there is no real options down below. I heard you mention Warren. A little bit of interest there. They have been trying to get him involved anyway. So he actually does interest me some in that spot because down Claypool already traded him away. So I don't know, maybe there's some opportunity there, but yeah, I'm definitely going sort of that 6,500 and above, 6,300 and above, I should say, with Pierce.
Okay. Speaking of Jonathan Taylor, he's completely off the injury report now.
Yep.
But his whole offensive line is fucked up. So, and Deion Jackson's out, but then Jeff Saturday's in. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to make the Jonathan Taylor case really quick because they very clearly have been a complete dumpster fire this year. They're getting a new coach in there, and Jeff Saturday is a guy that wants to run the ball a ton. He wants to coach up that offensive line. I'm not sure it matters what the score is here. I think he's going to give Jonathan Taylor the ball 25 times. And you're supposed to have a little bit of interest. He's $7,500. This is somebody that in this spot, if you would have told us, 6 weeks ago that, hey, we can get Jonathan Taylor against the Raiders at $7,500, we would have been pounding that name. That's the argument for. The argument against is he has fucked us all up all season and I can't do it.
I actually got to tell you, you made a good case. The simplest way for Jeff Saturday to come in here since he's starting Ellinger again is just to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor.
Yes.
The question is there going to be a hole?
I think that's what happens. I don't get like this very often with guys. I don't get like this where I just say, I can't do it anymore. I try and look at each individual situation and make my decision based on that. I'm about at that point with Jonathan Taylor where I say, I just can't freaking do it.
I do like Jacobs a little bit more on the other side, but I will say this, both matchups are basically the same. It was that same thing. Like I just used the Kamara example and JT is not Kamara the way that he's used at all. I'm saying, but in that matchup and that spot, Kamara did crush them. Both of them have bad O-lines, bad D-lines that they're going up against. So, man, the only thing I will say is I like Moreau a lot this week for obvious reasons. Waller out, Renfro out, everything. If you wanted to set up that secondary stack, that would be a nice little way to do it. And to Holden's point, and you kind of leaned him into it, Crane, why wouldn't Saturday just do that? Like, first game out, like, let's make this thing easy. The O-line's bad, but if he can get away with it, and again, the Raiders are down guys. Like, you're not necessarily guaranteed to see Devontae Adams go off again or anything like that. So I don't know. It seems at least like an interesting spot for the running backs within that game, whatever side you choose.
All right, guys, let's keep rolling here. I think it's an interesting discussion on Jonathan Taylor. I probably won't have him, but I could see the path.
The path is so obvious.
I know.
It's so obvious.
I know.
I'm still not going to do it.
Right.
I can't imagine I'm going to do it, but
okay.
Over under 19.5 carries, I'd take the over.
I got something over under for you is freaking DeAndre Swift rushing yards. I'll set it at like 20. Jesus, this guy.
I'm gonna tell you something about DeAndre Swift.
What?
All right, sorry, I know I just like killed your
That's
opening.
great. Let's go.
I'm interrupting. I interrupted Tambo earlier. I'm interrupting you. I'm just like a total dick today, and I'm sorry, but I don't think I'm gonna play DeAndre Swift the rest of the season. Like, they're very clearly gonna baby this guy, and his price is gonna stay over $6K. Like, I like being able to cross guys off, and I like the spot, but I don't think I'm going to play Swift the rest of the year. And even somebody that I love coming into the year, but I just think they're going to baby him all year. And if they're not like, look, if they said we're going to let him sit for a month, all right, I would play him coming back from that. But they're just going to keep sending him out there at 70%. And they're going to keep babying him. Like, I don't know. Why am I messing with Swift?
He had 2 carries last week. They're using him in the passing game, but Tambo, again, the coaching staff came out and said, this guy can't play every single down. I'm off of Swift too, at least this week. Any thoughts on him?
Not interested in anybody there. I was actually the guy I would have been interested in if he was out was Jamal Williams for obvious reasons, but I never liked Jamal Williams anyway. And now that it sounds like Swift is full good to go, then I have no interest there. So got to move off that spot.
Beautiful. Let's move off it and go to some wide receiver news. Romeo Doubs is out for the Packers. I mean, does this even matter? This passing game? Who does Aaron Rodgers throw to this week, Tambo?
Stick with Lazard, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's all you can do in this spot because, yeah, I'm not interested at all. Okay. Zero interest in that side in this game.
Crane, Dobbs.
It's funny. I'm sitting here playing with the lineup. I'm playing with like a double stud running back lineup, and I have 4K for a wide receiver and 4K for a flex, and I'm just sitting here thinking, Sammy Watkins maybe it's Christian Watson at 3. I don't know. I don't want to mess with it.
Watkins is off the injury report.
I know he is. He's also bad at football. Like, he always has one game a year though.
Yeah, it's usually week 1, and then he's on the injury report. Now it's
I know.
He's off until he's back on it. So yeah, I'm not doing that.
Any interest in Jarvis Landry, who's off the injury report and playing for the first time since week 4? Eric Crane.
No. Nope.
Okay, Tambo.
No, like I said, if anything, that worries me a little bit more for Kamara, just because of what if they do, he's a slot guy, veteran. What if they just try and chop it up over the middle a few times with him? That takes away from Kamara some. But like I said, it's hard to get away from Kamara with the usage. But when you see it, and if it doesn't come through the back of your head, you'll say, well, that made sense. Now Landry is back. They still have Taysom. They were working other guys in for a few snaps here and there. Like, I don't know. It just feels tougher to get to, but he looks so good on paper that it's hard to get away.
Okay. Crane. Matt Eberflus of the Bears, their head coach, says Chase Claypool is going to get an extension of his packages. That sounds a little weird. 35% of the snaps.
I think we all wish we were there, man.
He got 6 targets in a rush attempt. What do you think about rolling him out against this Lions defense? Little Chase Claypool.
Yeah, I have no problem with Claypool this week. I mean, he's going to erupt, and Justin Fields, everybody that plays him is either going to play him naked or with Mooney or with Cole Kmet. I can't imagine playing Cole Kmet. He had one good week. I'm not chasing that. But like, Claypool is a guy that has big play upside. We know Fields, he doesn't mind chucking it a little bit. And if everybody's going to play Mooney and nobody's going to play Claypool, I think they're about equal, honestly. So I would play Claypool there if you're going to play Fields. And even if you're not playing Fields, I think Claypool's fine.
Okay. Tambo, any Chase Claypool in the pool this week? You're a little contrarian.
Well, he's fine. I mean, it's not Fields is not contrarian. So if you're playing Fields lineups in MME, you definitely should have some Claypool because everyone's just going to see it's all season long. It goes this way. It's even more so this year than ever. But what happened last week? Oh, let's just do the same thing. It probably will happen again. So what's going to happen? It's going to be more of Fields, Mooney, Komet, run it back with Amon-Ra, boom, fit in these value running backs. And one of these weeks, I said this today, I'll say the line again for those who didn't watch, but it's the first week of double digits in the NFL. It's the first week. NFL, it's week 10. I'm hoping it's the first week the double-digit chalk doesn't get there 7 of the 9 spots. So let's see how this thing goes. But hopefully we get a week where it's not everywhere. Mind you, there is still some pretty good spots. But this one we did talk about it. The running backs priced up, wide receivers priced up. It's changed the game at least a little bit, and it's tough to find some of these value options. So maybe that makes it a little bit more of a contrarian week.
All right, we're to the end of the show. We got Mecole Hardman out for the Chiefs against the Jaguars. Listen, Tambo, Juju over the last 3 weeks is a complete stud. He's obviously got Kelsey there too. What does it mean with Hardman out? Who gets the bump?
Oh man, this is my favorite thing to talk about. This is
I'm glad because I'm flummoxed with.
Well, it's just funny because like Holden framed it up like there's only 2 guys. Let's run through it here for a second. CEH, Pacheco at running back. McKinnon is questionable, but he's always in the mix if he's there. Then you've got MBS, Juju, Tony. Who else do they have? One more guy. I forget. Kelsey.
Sky Moore,
Kelsey, Fortson, Gray. Like you're literally doing, and you have the quarterback who was very honest with you at the start of the season and told you, you're not going to like me for your fantasy teams. I'm going to every dude. So what has he done? He's went to every dude, and now we've got the situation. Hardman's out. I think many will. It's not like he's going to get popular by any means, but I think now people will want to slide in Tony. They already like him. Best ball bros on him. It all makes sense. And even last week, Andy Reid showed off his new toy for the first drive and a half or whatever. It felt like nothing. And then all of a sudden, he was out for the second half mostly. So I don't know what we'll see this week, but you have fun trying to figure that out. I will not, because it makes sense. Mahomes, phenomenal play. The total, excellent. The spot, great. People always forget DFS is not about that though. Like you have to get, that's why some weeks the optimal has this and the winning tournament lineups have that, because even though that spot went off, you might have 50% Mahomes lineups and not get enough. You might only get 2 or 3% of them that are the right combination of Tony and Pacheco, and the run back is somebody else that you didn't expect. And you only have 2 or 3 of those. And then your running backs are dead in those lineups. And it's a classic saying, Crane. Oh, I was 50% Mahomes and I still didn't win money this week. Yeah. Everything else went wrong. Or last week, everyone had that did get, it put themselves in a good spot with Mixon. I heard plenty of people say I had Mixon and still lost 20% of my money. And I was way overweight on Mixon. Why? You didn't have the right stacks with it. You need everything else to go right too. And with Mahomes, you really got to commit to it. So we'll see how it shakes out for me, but I'm definitely not playing Mahomes at quarterback this week, trying to figure that out, at least on Draftkings. Haven't looked at FanDuel yet with the pricing, but on Draftkings, not going there for sure.
Crane, you with Tambo here?
I mean, it's a giant headache, and I'm seeing MVS get steamed up a little bit. He's projected at 11% right now, and if you like have an actual opinion on this, you're just fooling yourself. Like it's like good luck choosing. If you're in multi-entering, you want to throw these guys in a little bit. I get it. I think this could be a week where Kadarius Toney becomes more involved. He is, gun to my head, who's going to benefit here? I think it would be Toney, but man, you're just guessing. Like if you think you know what's going on, you don't. Like, and if you get it right, you got lucky, because there's no telling what the Chiefs are going to go do or who they're going to go to. Yeah, Juju's had a couple good weeks in a row. Don't care. Like, I don't care. Like Juju's going to be like 20% this week. Good luck with that.
20%. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah, I don't know if he'll get that high, but I know this spot. Like again, the MVS is the guy that looks right now like he's getting a little bit of love. Juju's getting a little bit of love, but like I said, you can try and figure it out. I just think you need to dedicate too much. I'm not denying that it's a great spot, right? It's an excellent spot. It's when you have to dedicate that many lineups to figuring it out. I'd rather just hope it fails or hope that it doesn't get there in the way that is needed. That's all I care about. And the other thing too, last thing I'll say, Holden, is this slate. We've said it all show. The high-end running backs, the high-end wide receivers. There is cheap tight ends. There's a bunch of them down there that you can go to this week. I can just name a few here, but you've got Ingram, who's going to be in opposite side of that game. Dulcich, Foster Moreau. You've got Dalton Schultz. The chat was talking about Granson. Jelani Woods already out. Cox questionable. Maybe this is the week Ellinger and him finally hook up. The high school connection. If Swoop was watching the show for the last 2.5 weeks, we've talked about it plenty on here. I believe it's like Westlake High School. If you look it up, I know so much about it now from just doing these shows with it. But either way, my point being, when you go to that, not only do you need to get that right, you need those other guys to get there. Because when you have Mahomes, Kelsey, and MVS, and you run it back with ETN, I mean, you can't even get to that. That, like, you're so dead. You're so thin.
Good luck with that, yeah.
But go to, okay, now you got to go to Zay Jones, or you say, okay, I'll do Mahomes, Juju, MVS, Ingram. You now got the one setup that works with all the other running back plays that everyone else is on. If it's the one, congrats. That's awesome. But if it's not, and it's just the way this thing sets up, it might not be, then you're in big trouble with your builds. So,
all right. Great work, guys. Sunday morning, 8:45 Eastern time, 9:45 Atlantic. It's going to be Tambo, JT Hayes, AP, getting your Sunday morning started. And we hand it off to the wood, as Crane likes to say. There's no other show with 3 million makers. It's Crane, of course, Hoop, and Big T. And then the great show, the one you have to pay for, of course. Final countdown, up to lock. Me, JSU, and Uncle Dunkle hanging out. Great work today, boys. Hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Helmet, get us out of here.